Hi there, Steve here. I'm gonna jump in and do a video 2 days in a row here because I had a comment on my last video. Someone said, I'm gonna correct your English. It's not better, or I think younger. I referred to a friend that I met who was 5 years younger than me, and she said, no, it's younger than I. Very interesting on several levels. First of all, I'm not a fan of correcting people when they speak. Whether they're speaking their native language or some other language, I'm against it. In fact, I say even in terms of when I'm speaking with my tutor in Russian or Ukrainian, I want them to send me a list afterwards in Google Documents or on a reported link of the mistakes that I made, but I don't want to be interrupted because actually I'm trying to communicate. I'm communicating meaning, and I don't want people to be analyzing my grammar while I'm communicating meaning. That's just and I don't do it to other people. I try not to at any rate. But second of all, this whole point about younger than me, bigger than me versus grammar is based on two things in a sense. It's based on practice, how do people use the language, and to some extent it's based on logic. So in terms of usage, there's no question that far more people say bigger than me or older than me or same as me than say bigger than I. If I hear someone say bigger than I, it sounds strange. So overwhelmingly, usage favors than me. And the logic of that is that the word than can either be a conjunction or a preposition. If it's a conjunction, then it sort of connects two equal phrases, clauses. So bigger than I am. I mean, no one would say bigger than me am. Bigger than I am. Younger than I am. But when it's then is also identified in the dictionary as a preposition. So when it's used as a preposition, bigger than me, more than ever, there it's used as a preposition. So I guess it's not incorrect to assume, as some people say, that bigger than me is actually bigger than I is sort of, we've taken the am out of it. So it really means bigger than I am, but there is no am there. So bigger than I is also okay. I would never criticize anyone for saying bigger than I. It just sounds a bit strange to me. Further, in the sense of logic, it's interesting, and of course I'm taking this beside my French cafe here. It's interesting when you speak a number of different languages that you can look at how certain things are treated in other languages. The interesting thing is that French, and I consider French to have had a great influence on English simply because half of the 60% of the vocabulary in English comes from Norman French. So French had a major influence on English. In French, they say plus que moi. They don't say plus que je. They might say plus que je, and there they might even add in puisque je ne le suis, or whatever. Plus que je ne le suis, because there's this, call it the expletive, the redundant ne in French, but leaving that out of it, it's moins que moi, plus que moi. So they use the adjective for moi. But in Spanish, they don't. Más que yo. In German, mehr als ich. So, and I'm not going to go through Više, čem ja. Like all the other languages seem to agree with the concept that the more than, the comparative, comparing equals, if it's a nominative or subject here, it's a subject there. But French doesn't do it that way, and overwhelmingly, English doesn't do it that way. So I think it's an interesting subject. It comes up all the time. I'm sticking to the way I normally use the language and the way I hear the majority of people use the language. And even in writing, I will say more than me. I won't write more than I, unless I'm saying writing more than I am. So I think that's kind of an interesting bit of a controversy there. I'm sure there are people who disagree with me. And so, I look forward to hearing your views on this. It has nothing to do with Korean. In fact, I haven't done any Korean yet. I better get at it. Bye for now.